Next up, we have the 4th overall pick. Bubba was up with the 4th overall pick, and he selected wide receiver out of Houston, DeAndre Hopkins.
Fake toss. Watson throws. Caught. And this is Hopkins into Dallas territory. On his feet. Look at that. A rolling dervish to the 27-yard line.
Unbelievable.
DeAndre Hopkins, he's the obvious first receiver to be taken off the board, in my opinion. Has a 4.1 ADP in Dynasty. He was taken at the 4th pick, so he's right on par there. Coming off a season where he had over 115 receptions, over 1,500 yards, and 11 touchdowns. That stat line improved from the year before, where he had 96 receptions, over 1,300 yards, but 13 touchdowns the year before. He's the type of guy every year you're going to expect roughly 100 receptions, double-digit touchdowns, and 1,400 yards, putting him at top 3 receiver every single year. And not to mention, his quarterback is set for the future. He's got an elite quarterback that is young in Deshaun Watson. As far as the age apex for wide receivers, it's a bit different from running backs. Now, the age apex for receivers begins a little bit later at around the age 25 and doesn't drop off really until you get to 31. And Hopkins right now is at 27, so he's sitting right in the middle of his peak. So he's got a good few years yet to go. And 27 is the peak age. That's the range you're looking for in a receiver to have their best season of their career. I have DeAndre Hopkins as a Tier 1 receiver for this season and a Tier 1 receiver for the future. He is the only receiver I have in Tier 1 for both. Some receivers that are Tier 1 this season might be a Julio Jones and a Devontae Adams, but I don't have them Tier 1 future because they're older prospects. Devontae not so much, but I just don't see him having the same future as Hopkins because Hopkins has a younger quarterback throwing him the football. Overall grade, Bubba, I give you a 95. I personally would have taken Zeke here. I like to get my running back off the board, but understandably, you're an Eagles fan, so I understand why you wouldn't. It's sometimes an advantage to take a receiver in the first round and Ying to everyone else's Yang, because if I recall, you got Joe Mixon in the second, and that's a solid pickup in my opinion. You got good value on him while also getting the top receiver prospect in the meantime.